Good evening, folks. Arak StarrEagle here, Lecture Theatre, Douglas College. Lucky to be filming. Mr. Gnosis is up there. Hi, Mr. Gnosis, how you doing? And of course, our cameraman director, Corazon de Leon, Lionheart Dan Gressel. What I'm going to talk to you tonight about on the Eagles area, my friends, is the culture of violence that's happening. It's happening worldwide, but it's happening a lot in the United States. And basically, we're putting guns above our children, it seems, lately. Not all of us, I realize, but of course there's select individuals that are spoiling it for everyone in society. Individuals that choose carnage, that choose slaughter, that choose violence, that choose murder. And this really concerns me because our children are what's most precious in life. You know, they bring us wonder, they bring us smiles, they bring us joy, they bring us laughter. Sometimes they bring us tears too, frankly. But the fact of the matter is our children are as precious as any gold, riches, you know, as precious as emerald, rubies, and diamonds. And I guess the rash of shootings in specific terms is what I'm talking about. There was a shooting the other day. I don't exactly know the name of the mall, but I was watching CNN, as I normally do, and it was at a mall in New Jersey. And again, innocents, you know, getting gunned down, basically. Women and children go to the mall, old people of course too, but women and children go to the mall, and our children are, as I said, they're our most innocents in society. They should live in a world where they could feel safe and free and secure to go about doing what they do, being able to go to the mall and, you know, their parents can buy them some gifts at the mall and take them to go see a movie or something like that, and they should be able to feel, as I said, feel safe and secure in this world. And that concerns me. There's a big shoot up in the mall. It's just sheer tragedy. It's a waste of life, really. Lives cut short, like the flame on a candle, you know, the wick extinguished. It's senseless. It's not only senseless, but it's wrong. It's immoral and it's depraved. You know, when our innocent lives in society get snuffed out. Tragic. And you go back, I don't exactly remember how many years ago now this was, but in Aurora, Colorado, at a movie theater, another place where people go for fun and entertainment, they go for joy, and parents take their children there, and their teenagers, and their tweens, I guess is another word too. And, you know, oddly enough, you know, inspired by Batman, someone comes dressed as the Joker, full makeup and whatnot. And, you know, basically foments anarchy, chaos, violence, depravity, and carnage and slaughter and murder. And little children in the seats, you know, much like in this lecture theater here, they're just watching, they want to watch Batman, they want to watch, you know, a hero, well, an anti-hero anyway, I mean, I have my own thoughts on that, but Superman's more my style, frankly, folks. But they want to get their Batman fix. And then lo and behold, some gunmen come in, basically, they enter the theater, and somehow bypass security, and they mow down innocent life. You know, I believe it was 2 individuals that did that. Disgusting. Sheer depravity, I gotta use that word again, it's disgusting and grotesque. And then sometime later, again I don't have the exact dates or anything, but this was in Newtown, Connecticut, and it was at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. Targeting not just innocents getting caught in the crossfire, but little kids, little students, getting targeted for murder, and it's not killing, it's not killing, let me get this straight, folks, murder. And again, such a waste of precious lives, innocent lives being snuffed out before their time. What these people are is cowards. What they are is cowards. You know, perhaps they have things going on in their own life. Sometimes maybe they're bullied, they're victims of taunting. And that's not right, and I'm not saying that it is. You dial it back, you know, several years to the Columbine massacre. And, you know, on one level you can see where these people come from. I'm a different sort of person too, and I mean, I haven't necessarily been beaten down in high school or something, but there may have been some taunting and teasing going on, and not everyone has to be the same. And you know, this is not sympathy for the devil here, but I'm trying to go into their heads a little bit. So maybe there's some revenge. That was bad enough. You know, if you go back to Columbine, it seemed like it was motivated by revenge and by vengeance. Now that's still bad. It creates a cycle of violence, it creates a cycle of vengeance, and that's immoral and wrong. But now it seems that just anywhere and everywhere, you know, innocent lives getting snuffed out. Our most precious citizens are our children. Our children are our future, not the jaded cash or guns. I actually say it in a song of mine, living free forever, and we should. We should, in point of fact, my friends, be able to live free forever. Now, I realize in America that they have the amendment where they have the right to bear arms. And I don't support hunting necessarily. I'm not a hunter, and I'm definitely against big game hunting. And even rhinos being killed so someone can use their horn for medicine or prophylactics or whatever they use it for. There's always reasons, it seems, for killing, of animals and such like that. Now, traditionally, as omnivores, if you look at our teeth, we actually have sharp incisors as well. There's vegetarians and vegans among us, and I applaud them. They're noble. I eat meat as well, so I can understand the need for that. If you're a survivalist, you're out in the woods, whether you're out in the jungle, you're out, just in regular rainforest or something, and you're lost in the woods, and you got to hunt to survive. That's great. And actually, in point of fact, if people are, the Native Indians had a wonderful culture in many ways that I would love to expound on more. Hunting has always been a part of our culture, and we used to use bows and arrows, crossbows, and then the advent of the gun. Now, I don't necessarily believe that we should necessarily take away the rights of the hunters, rifles, but we shouldn't drive animals to extinction either. I got to get that out of the way, which is happening to bears now. But as far as hunting goes, perhaps hunting licenses might be acceptable. Hunting for food, that is. Not hunting for sport, but hunting for food. As far as goes, some other people argue that we need handguns for protection, and also to protect us from the government, we need weapons to protect us from the government. Now, I'll call the question, folks. If we're wanting to protect ourselves from the government, from the man, from the big machine, if you will, what kind of people are we electing? What kind of people are we electing that basically we have to fear our government? There are those that believe that government is the problem. I personally like to believe that government can. It isn't always, but it can indeed be a solution. It can provide a social safety net, social safety program, and actually, I could see that government can, create good things for people in culture and in society within nations. But if we're electing people that we have to fear, what kind of lives are we living? We're not living lives of freedom. We're not living lives of peace and equality. We're living, or love, or compassion. We're living lives of fear where we're already having terror and dread within us. So I would say, if you're really fearing the government, folks, this is my counter-argument to that. Elect better people. Maybe move beyond a two-party system where you have finger puppets that are really representing the bottom line, avarice and greed, and worshiping the gods of greed, if you will. And that's, and the military-industrial complex comes into it. I believe they killed John F. Kennedy for, flouting their wishes on many different things in regards to Cuba and Vietnam. So the government is worrisome, and the governments can become tyrannical and a dictatorship. But, again, elect representatives that you feel that you can trust, that that's our responsibilities and that's our rights at the same time. So that would be my counter-argument to that. Maybe elect better people to Congress and elect better people to the House of Senate that you don't feel would be tyrants, that you don't feel would be dictators. And there's many other different parties out there. Choose among them. Whether it's I don't know whether it's the Green Party, Libertarian Party, whatever. And certainly there's great people in Republicans and Democrats too. When we're at the point that we got to fear the government that much, by the people, for the people, and of the people. The government does exist to serve us as citizens, both with Canada and the United States specifically, I'm talking about right here. So that would be my answer. Elect people that you don't fear, that you don't have terror and dread for, that you can trust. Now, protection. Yes, I don't like the idea of someone coming in, and again, innocent lives can get snuffed out this way too. We could be left with orphans or widows. You can have gunmen or people even with knives. It's a slower death and probably more painful and excruciating and more fearsome. Coming into the house to rob it, mug people, and sometimes, we want to have, cops aren't always around, and sometimes they can be thugs and bullies too. We don't always have people around to protect us at all points in time. And if we did, maybe we would have that tyranny and maybe we would have that dictatorship. If we just had the constabulary, the patrolmen, the police force basically go out and watch our every move. And in point of fact, maybe it is getting that way. And I will talk another time about the NSA and the surveillance activity.
We don't want a 1984 Big Brother is watching you thing. We should feel safe and secure and free in our own homes, where we can have peace and we can have joy. We shouldn't have to worry about that sort of thing. Maybe there's an argument there. Maybe there's an argument there that I don't necessarily agree with, but maybe there's an argument there that perhaps handguns can be used for protection. But again, we got to make sure that the guns are in the right hands. As you saw with the Trayvon Martin case, neighborhood vigilantism. This fellow, trying to remember his name right now, George, it escapes me at the moment. I don't remember his name. It was George something. This happens to me. I do a lot of speaking on camera. But the point of fact of the matter is that this fellow went out, saw this black kid in a hoodie. Maybe he went out to 7-Eleven. I think he was getting some snacks or something.
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. Thank you. Mr. Gnosis always has the answer. Boom shakalaka. George Zimmerman. That's right. A bit of racial profiling may have come into this, and not just that, judging a person by how he looks. Which I definitely can understand. Being a white boy, you think maybe I wouldn't, but regard the hair, regard the bandana. People do judge you how you look. Maybe this fellow George Zimmerman thought he was doing a good thing, and that this guy was going to. There's certainly people in hoodies that do rob people, that do mug people. Yes, given. But at the same time, this man with a gun took it upon himself to go and basically play God, decide who lives and who dies, that this person was in fact a criminal. In his mind, he gave him a kangaroo court. He'd already decided in his mind that this fellow, this black kid Trayvon Martin, was a criminal. Now, I don't know exactly all the details because I wasn't involved in the court case myself. Maybe this kid did do some bad things. A lot of people said, well, he had THC in his system. He smoked some reefers and stuff like that. Oh, he must be a bad kid. Must be a bad kid. Maybe he did get involved in crimes I don't know about. But it doesn't give someone the right to play Punisher, and if you read comics, you get my point here, to play neighborhood vigilante. Not a hero, not an altruist. Was anyone's life in imminent danger at that point? Was George Zimmerman's life in imminent danger? No, not initially anyway. Before he decided to confront this kid, without knowing the full story, without knowing what this kid was doing on the street, again, he already decided in his mind that he was some sort of badass criminal, pardon my French. Is that right to go and play God and decide who lives or who dies based on your own conceptions, your own preconceptions? Again, I wasn't there. I don't know the full story. I'm sure that Martin confronted him back. I believe he did. There was some wrestling going on, and I don't know. One of them apparently was a shoot fighter. Actually, I think it was Zimmerman, in point of fact. So there was some martial arts being used, and there was physical violence being used. Yes, that's wrong. Some say an eye for an eye. Gun for a gun, a sword for a sword. The cycle of violence continues. This is not a good thing. And then the kid, basically, his life gets snuffed out like the flame in the wick of a candle. Again, I don't know the full story. I don't know exactly what played into it. I don't know all the factors. I wasn't there. So I really shouldn't scorn and I really shouldn't judge, and I apologize for having done so. But the point of the matter is, a lot of people say that guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yes, indeed. But people use guns. Now, if I wanted to take this, what is this used for? All right. I don't have a felt pen here. This is used to erase something. This would be pretty hard to beat someone's freaking skull in with this, wouldn't it now? My sunglasses. They protect us from the sun, ultraviolet rays. That's its use. This is to protect us from the rays of the sun. That projector there shows images on a screen. Chairs could be used as a weapon, quite frankly. A lot of things could be used as a weapon, same with the garbage can. But guns are always used for physical violence. Whether it's used for inciting violence, shooting people at random, as I mentioned, the New Jersey Mall, in Sandy Hook in Newtown, Connecticut, the 16th Century Theater or whatever it was, I don't remember the exact name, in Aurora, Colorado, the Batman shootings. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well, people wield the guns. People wield that weapon in the same way that they do knives. Yes, it can be used to defend people, but it's still used for physical violence. And violence begets violence. I don't always practice this myself, but it is indeed better to turn the other cheek. Because otherwise you're going to have a slap contest. Otherwise you're going to have a Wild West scenario, friends. Otherwise you're going to have showdowns. Otherwise you're going to have showdowns. And that's, and there was law and order in the Wild West, but it was called the Wild West for a reason. And that's because there was people killing people with abandon. There was vigilantism. We need gun control. We need gun control, and not just handguns now. And I gotta say, we want psychological evaluation. If we are going to have the right to bear arms, we want deep psychological evaluation. Evaluate people where they are emotionally, in their heart, in their spirit. Evaluate them mentally, where they are in their head. Sometimes they're not in a good place. And sometimes, even people that are innocent, a lot of times, they might just snap. Things go on in their life and they don't act like themselves. They might, and I'm going to use this, pardon my expression, they might jump the gun. They might make that kill shot. Maybe they've had some bad scenarios and bad circumstances going on, and they have that gun there. That gives them the availability to kill people, to kill other people, to play God, to strike them down before their time. To strike them down before their time. And I'm speaking passionately because I care about our innocent women and children. Because I care about old people that do their shopping in the mall, that go to the mall to get their groceries. Because I care about people, and I care about people's lives, and people's lives are precious. And they don't deserve to die before their time. So if we do have the right to bear arms, and I'm getting passionate here because I believe that all life is precious and sacred. Even those people that are killing people, their lives are precious and sacred too. But we don't know their full story, and we don't have the right to play God. So let's stop doing that. Let's stop doing that. If indeed we have the right to bear arms, and we use it for hunting, let's not hunt animals to extinction. If we want to protect our families, let's make sure we have all the facts. Let's make sure that we're in a good place where we have the wisdom and the knowledge to make that judgment call. So we don't premeditatedly, if that's a word, don't make that kill shot, and don't act rashly, and don't act impatiently and over-aggressively, where we don't do that. Because people's lives matter. All people's lives are precious and sacred. So I call for, if we are going to have the right to bear arms, we must have full, and I mean full, psychological and emotional evaluation before people possess that gun. Because yes, guns don't kill people. People kill people, yeah, but it's people that wield that guns. We're creating a culture of warriors instead of a culture of people loving. And our children, again, I bring it back to this, are our most precious and sacred. Now, AK-47s, M16s, things like this, assault rifles. These are instruments of war. These are things that have been used in Iraq, used in Afghanistan to smite down terrorists, the servitors of Osama bin Laden and his zealots crusade. Things that soldiers use, attacking other soldiers in war. And I'm not a big believer in war. We've got to have a very good reason. That's a topic for another day, my friends, before we even go to war. And I could speak on that for an hour, seriously. But in a civilian society, I call for peace and I call for true justice. True justice where we don't premeditatedly take someone's life without factoring in all the scenarios. Are they an imminent threat to ourselves? Are they an imminent threat to others? And why are we taking the jobs of the cops away from the cops? If we've entrusted the police to defend our lives, friends, why are we trying to become the enforcers in the society? Why then do the cops have a badge? Why then have we given state troopers their rights? Why then have we given border patrols their rights? Why have we given the highway patrols, cops on the beat? Why have we given them this badge of honor to defend our lives? Do we not trust them? Yes, they can't be there at all times. Yes, some of them are thugs. Yes. You look back at Rodney King. He did some criminal behavior, but he didn't deserve to get beat down. Again, story for another day. Another day, a story for. However, like I say, if we have enforcers there for a reason, why are there people going out being vigilantes? And why do we need this culture of guns so much that it gets in the way of our culture of family, it gets in the way of our culture of friendship, it gets in the way of our culture of love, it gets in the way of our culture of children, it gets in the way of our culture of innocence, innocent lives being taken before their time. If we're going seriously folks, You can see it in my eyes, and I'm passionate about this. We're going to have the right to bear arms. With every right comes a responsibility and a duty to act honorably and fairly and justly. With temperance and with patience, and with mercy and with grace. So before we take up that gun, we got to consider that other person's life. Do we want to be the person to kill another person? Do we want to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner? Do we want to lower that guillotine? Do we want to drop that axe? Do we want to smite another person's life, an innocent person's life, or even a not-so-innocent person's life? Isn't it far better to use that as a last resort? And if we are to have these rights to bear arms, full psychological evaluation, full emotional evaluation, I wouldn't even trust myself with a weapon. Actually, maybe me less than a lot of people, frankly. We all got it in us to be killers, and we all got it in us to be lovers, friends. Bring this in a little closer. We all got us in us to be friends and to be good family, to the rest of society, both to our own family and abroad, all nations, all peoples. It's better to link hands in love than it is to raise a hand in war. And especially a hand that wields a weapon. And especially a hand that makes that kill shot. So let's choose love. Let's choose honor. Let's choose peace. And let's choose temperance and patience. And I know I'm speaking passionately about this, so hopefully I don't get judged too much on this, but it's a passion issue. Because I care about our children. I care about the old people, that are just doing their shopping in the mall. The children that want to go and watch a Batman movie. The children that are riding a little horsey in a mall, and their parents popped in, I don't know what it is, a few quarters, and they're getting their joy from riding this mechanical horse, and along comes a lone gunman or several gunmen, and they decide to take innocent lives before their time. It isn't right. It isn't fair. And it isn't justice. And it isn't the way of love and peace. Again, if we are to have the right to bear arms, let's do so honorably and responsibly. Again, to cap it off, as far as hunting goes, well, maybe it isn't right to take away people's right to hunt if they're using it for food. Don't drive the animals to extinction. Don't drive the animals to extinction. The earth was given to us to be good stewards. Yes, the earth is our bounty, provides us nourishment and sustenance. But let's not kill all the wild game, and certainly not mount their heads on walls. What if that was us? And I'm not saying that should happen to us either. There was a time in my life when I thought, maybe we should throw people into pits of lions. Serve them right. I'm beyond that now. I'm not going to hate other people for doing as they do. And I'm not going to continue that cycle of blame and aggression. However, I say we act responsibly. And again, if we have that gun to protect our family and our home, I can understand that. But full psychological and emotional evaluation in that case. So perhaps handguns to defend yourself in the case of robbers in a home. I mean, that's a pretty clear-cut thing when someone's breaking into your house. But again, we also, perhaps there's always first responders too. Maybe there's non-lethal forms of combat or something. As far as AK-47s goes and assault rifles, these are used for war. Seriously, folks, these are used for war. These are what warriors are using, and not everyone in life and not everyone in society is a warrior. So let's choose the way of peace. Let's choose the way of temperance and balance, self-control and order. Before we start giving into the ways of darkness, before we're too far down that road, seriously, let's think about it for a second. With our hearts, let's feel for other people. With our minds, let's think about other people's lives. Let's not be vigilantes. Let's not, more than killers, let's not be murderers. Because once that life is taken, it's gone. Once that soul has fled that body, it's gone. We've made a decision for someone else's life. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right to kill other people. It's, when you put yourself in that position, it's not right to play judge, jury, and executioner. So let's not do that. Let's embrace love in our hearts. Let's embrace peace in our souls and use wisdom in our heads. I'm not saying necessarily we take away people's rights. If that's an enshrined right of theirs to bear arms in that country, I'm a Canadian. Please, people, that make the decisions. Please choose wisely, and please choose responsibly, and please choose with love. Over and out.